please. That, ladies and gentlemen, is just a taste of what you can expect here at All Music Sunday here at First Unitarian Society, where independent thinkers gather in a safe, nurturing, and musical environment to explore issues of social, spiritual, and ethical significance as we try to make a difference in this world. I'm Steve Goldberg, a proud member of this congregation and a recently retired, world-renowned runway model. And I want to extend a very special welcome to any guests, visitors, or newcomers. If this is your first time at First Unitarian Society, I think you'll find it's a special place, and we invite you to join us at our fellowship hour right after the service. We do ask a favor, though, and that is that you silence your pesky electronic devices that you just won't need for the next hour, because for the next hour, you're going to be enjoying and savoring a wonderful all-music Sunday. So I invite you to sit back or lean forward to enjoy this service. I heard the 9 o'clock version, and you are in for a total treat. We're glad you're here, but before the music resumes, we ask that you join in a moment of centering silence so we can be fully present with each other this morning.
Our opening words and our chalice lighting are taken from the writing of the 14th century mystic Julian of Norwich. You will find the chalice lighting words printed in your text. It is labeled chalice lighting words. You will need those as we rise in all of the ways that we do and receive our opening words and then spark our flame with her writing. She writes, "It is a characteristic of God to overcome evil with good. We receive our being from him, and this is where his maternity starts. And with it comes the gentle protection and guard of love which never ceases to surround us. Just as God is our Father, so God is also our mother, and he showed us this truth in all things, but especially in those sweet words." We continue with her writing as together we say, "I am the power and the goodness of the Father. I am the wisdom of the Mother. I am the light and the grace which is blessed love. I am the Trinity. I am the unity. I am the supreme goodness. I am the one who makes you love. I am the one who makes you desire. I am the never-ending fulfillment of all true desires. In the bright morning of this world, we started, but the love which created us was in him from the very beginning, and in this love is our beginning." In such a spirit of love, I invite you to turn towards each other and offer a warm and loving greeting. And now remain standing as we sing the first two verses of O Come, Emmanuel, number 225.
And with your captive children.
Our children's story this morning is wordless and images, and so I invite you to turn your attention to the screen as we also receive a gift of music. In a moment, as we sing our children to our classes, we will light the next 2 candles on our Advent wreath. The candles on this wreath count down through the season of winter, the dark leading into the light. Advent is a time of waiting and cultivating the spiritual practice of patience. The season asks us to hold faith that all we are becoming is still awakening under the surface of our lives. So on this second Advent Sunday, we light the candle of peace with the words of Pema Chodron, a Buddhist nun. If we want there to be peace in the world, we have to be brave enough to soften what is rigid in our hearts, to find the soft spot and stay with it. We have to have that kind of courage and take that kind of responsibility. That is the true practice of peace. May this time of waiting inspire our courage. May we find the soft spot, the pressure of this season, and stay with it as we discern our way forward. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be at ease and discover the true practice of peace within us so that there might be peace in the world. I invite us to rise in the ways that we do as we sing number 118, This Little Light of Mine, and we sing our children and religious educators to class.
Building up a world. Building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Please be seated.
A solstice prayer written by Edward Hayes. The dark shadow of space leans over us. We are mindful that the darkness of greed, exploitation, and hatred also lengthens its shadow over our small planet Earth. May we find hope in the lights we have kindled, hope in one another, and in all who form the webwork of peace and justice that spans the world. In the heart of every person on this earth burns the spark of luminous goodness. In no heart is there total darkness. Call forth from one another the light and the love that is hidden in every heart. So may it be, and amen.
Sing
a wassail poem by Charles Mackay. If thy bosom undaunted ne'er quailed before danger, or feared to stand forth for the right, if thy doors were never shut on the poor and the stranger, thy heart never falls to its plight, to thee we will drink, all women and men, wassail, O wassail, a health to thee then. If honor can dazzle or freedom inspire thee to fight in her cause as she sink, if the wrongs of thy kind or thy country can fire thee, a bumper to thee we will drink. Though humble and poor, thou art king among men. Wassail, O wassail, a health to thee then.
Oh, lily, white lily, oh, lily, white pin, please to come down and let us come in. Oh, lily, white smock, please to come down and turn back the lock. Our wassail, jolly wassail, joy come to our joy.
The Guest is inside you and also inside me, by Kabir. The Guest is inside you and also inside me. You know the sprout is hidden inside the seed. We are all struggling. None of us has gone far. Let your arrogance go and look around inside. The blue sky opens out further and farther. The daily sense of failure goes away. The damage I have done to myself fades. A million suns come forward with light when I sit firmly in that world. I hear bells ringing that no one has shaken. Inside, love is more joy than we know of. Rain pours down, although the sky is clear of clouds. There are whole rivers of light. The universe is shot through in all parts by a single sort of love. How hard it is to feel that joy in all four bodies. Those who hope to be reasonable about it fail. The arrogance of reason has separated us from that love. With the word reason, you already feel miles away. How lucky Kabir is that surrounded by all this joy, he sings inside his own little boat. His poems amount to one soul meeting another. These songs are about forgetting dying and loss. They rise above both coming in and going out. Here ends the reading. A reading from the Gospel of Matthew, the 2nd chapter. Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said cunningly, "Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him." After they had heard the king, they went their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with the gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. As we move into our time of giving and receiving our offering, may you know that you are already acting from a place of generosity and abundance. When you ask us to be more transparent about the financial realities of the congregation, we shared some of the challenges and began the Close the Gap campaign. And your generosity and your abundance have helped us with gifts and new pledges to cut the deficit in half. And many of those new pledges are significantly an increase over previous campaigns. And it isn't really just a matter of financial resource, it is also affection and time. In this service alone, we have had the gifts of our musicians, our choristers, our meeting house chorus, our society choir, our teen choir, our string band, all giving hours of rehearsal and love in order to be a part of today's service. So as we receive this offering that goes to benefit our music program, may we remember that without your generosity and your abundance, none of this would be possible. May such a truth and such a generosity inspire the giving and receiving of our offering.
that was tasty. I don't know about you, I didn't want that to end. Thank you, Linda. Thanks for your generosity during the offertory. That generosity is one way of you declaring your stewardship of many things in this congregation, including and especially today the music program. If you would like to sharpen your generosity and stewardship skills on behalf of First Unitarian Society, we are offering a stewardship generosity workshop right after the service, 12:30, over in the Landmark building. So feel free to come over there for that enjoyable experience. Speaking of generosity, we want to recognize those whose generous volunteer energy has made All Music Sunday possible, in addition, of course, to the volunteer musicians and singers behind me. We want to thank our greeters today, Joe and Nancy Moskow, our ushers, Dorrit Bergen, Artis Kaufman, Diana Rodham, and Michael Hoon, and the ever-reliable Jean Hills preparing the coffee for our hospitality and fellowship hour. And thank you to Tom Heine for doing double duty, staffing the welcome table and also serving as our lay minister today. A couple other announcements for you. First announcement involves a prop. Here's the prop. I think many of you recognize this as the guest at your table box, and 'tis the season for that. The guest at the table box is an opportunity to support the human rights initiatives of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, and you'll find your family's guest at your table box out in the Commons during the fellowship hour. We also want to thank those who participated, speaking of generosity, in our annual Giving Tree program, which our FUS Road Home team spearheaded. And the gifts that you have pledged for the Road Home families and the families at Nehemiah and the Respite Center can be delivered to the Giving Tree in the atrium. Tomorrow noon is the deadline for that. The last announcement involves, thank you, Doug, we're all about partnering here, involves your opportunity to attend the Moses Transformation and Awards event this Saturday night at the Brassworks Neighborhood Center over by the Goodman Center on the east side of town. And if you have questions about it and would like more information, Allison Mix, who's in the choir and is raising her hand right now, can answer those questions. She'll be around in the Commons during the fellowship hour. And also you'll find in the Commons a flyer about the event. It's a great opportunity to support the work of Moses in addressing criminal justice reform in our local community. And the last announcement is a very important one. It's a housekeeping announcement to help out the ushers. If you could please return your hymnals to the book carts in the Commons. Let's get back to the music.
May we all make music together. It is your turn to sing. Let's rise in all the ways that we do. We will join together in hymn number 245, Joy to the World, singing all verses together.
You may sing whichever words you're used to.
Joy to the world, the word
And now, as Howard Thurman writes, when the song of the angel is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, and when the kings and the princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among brothers and sisters, to make music in the heart. Though we may extinguish this chalice, we do not extinguish the light of the season in every season. We do not extinguish the warmth of human love. We do not extinguish the power of working for common good. These remain until we come to this place again. Now, if you will take a seat and receive one more gift of music together.